I'd like to speak about is the death in custody in Alice Springs that happened at the end of last month. Now I'm going to start with the police update to death in custody in Alice Springs. So this is a media release from Northern Territory Police. The Northern Territory Police Force is continuing to investigate the death of a 24-man in custody earlier this week. At around 1:10 p.m. on Tuesday, the Joint Emergency Service Communication Centre received reports that a male had been involved in an altercation with security guards at Coles Supermarket. It is alleged a 24-year-old Aboriginal male was placing items down the front of his clothing when he was confronted by security. One of the security guards was assaulted, and there were two police officers who were in plain clothes at the time in the supermarket who rendered assistance to the security guard. This line here is starting to look like a very big lie told by Northern Territory government. The man was placed onto the ground by those police officers and lost consciousness in a short time later. We are starting to find out that the man was put in a hold and had a knee placed on his head, and that's probably his cause of death. Initial first aid was provided, including CPR. St John's ambulance attended the scene. The man was conveyed to Alice Springs Hospital, where he was pronounced deceased shortly after 20:20 p.m. The NTPF Major Crimes Section detectives in Alice Springs investigating the death with oversight from the Professional Standards Command. Police are also investigating this matter on behalf of the coroner. The cause of the man's death is currently undetermined, and the forensic pathologist is required to complete further investigations to provide any substantive cause of death. Police believe the man was involved in an incident near the Commonwealth Bank on Gregory Terrace just prior to the incident at Coles. It is alleged that during this incident, the 24-year-old has assaulted a woman who was not known to him. Police have since identified this woman, and investigations are ongoing. That part I haven't heard in media, and I haven't heard repeated. I know the family has asked for the police to remove this, and they refuse. Detectives are urging anyone who witnessed the incident to ring them up. Assistant Commissioner Travers Words says detectives have collected a considerable amount of evidence, and the public can be assured that a full and thorough investigation report will be prepared for the coroner. Police are in contact with the man's family. Our thoughts are with the deceased family, our members, and the entire Alice, and we thank them for their patience and work. Right, so that sounds all good. 29th of May. The police arrest somebody, they die while being arrested. It's not an abnormal thing. So it sounds normal. Now, I wasn't going to comment on this because people who are better educated than me are commenting on it. But as time goes on, this thing gets more and more and more and more sus. Next, this is from the Northern Territory National Indigenous Times. I didn't know this publication existed, but I'm sure as hell going to subscribe to it and support it. Northern Territory Police yet to stand down officers involved in death in custody. Now, where this report is very important is more than a week after the death in custody of a disabled Walpiri man in the... I don't want to mispronounce Aboriginal names, so I'm just going to say in Alice Springs. No Northern Territory police officer involved in his arrest has been stood down despite an investigation taking place. Kumanjay White, a 24-year-old Walpiri man living in supported accommodation and under state guardianship. So he was a state ward, Right, this is getting worse. I didn't know that. So he's awarded a state, right? Like the states are responsible for him. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. He's under state guardianship. Died last week after being restrained by two plainclothes police officers following an alleged altercation with a security guard at Coles supermarket. The Northern Territory Police and Chief Minister Leah Fenecharo have rejected calls from Mr White's family, human rights groups and Indigenous Australian Minister Milpuri McAfee for an independent investigation into the death, despite long-standing concerns from Indigenous communities about systemic racism and over-policing in the Territory. It was reported last week that one of the officers allegedly involved in the initial arrest of Mr White was Empatawi Alice Springs Police Prosecutor Stephen Haig. When asked to confirm his involvement, Northern Territory Police issued a conflicting response. So the police prosecutor, now let me explain to you what a bloody police prosecutor is. A police prosecutor is a pen pusher in a courthouse. They don't go out and arrest people. They don't hand out warrants. They don't do any sort of that thing. What police prosecutors' main job to do is to put children in care so that they can be abused. What police main job to do is to make sure that the justice system progresses along between where people get arrested and where the money's made in the penal system. But that's a whole different issue. Police prosecutors don't arrest people at supermarkets, put knees on their heads and kill them. As the days go on and on and on with this can be called nothing more than a murder. If I had done this to somebody on the street, I would rightfully be in jail at this very moment on remand. Best case scenario, manslaughter. Worst case scenario, murder. Because it's starting to look like what these two police officers did could only result in the death of the person. But yeah, there it is. The Alice Springs police prosecutor. So basically two coppers, probably just been to the gym, taken a big wad of fucking steroids and drunk a few slabs of beer because police are sexist, alcoholic, gym junkie, incel, asshole pricks. I've had 5 friends over the period of the 55 years of my life die while in police custody, and by the way, all 5 of those people were white. A lot of times it's not the colour of your skin, it's the thickness of your bank account that decides how you're treated by police. This is all going to be swept under the carpet. And the other thing, Mr. Albanese, the so-called Prime Minister of this country, you're such a weak prick. Run away, run away, run away. We can't talk about this. We can't, well, what about The Voice and all that crap and doing all this stuff for First Nations people? Yeah, First Nation, how many people have died in police custody in Northern Territory in the last 50 days? Is it 3 or is it 4? Oh, some of those people were in corrective service custody. It's not a matter of the colour of your skin, by the way. I'm not angry about this because an Aboriginal man has died in a supermarket at the hands of Northern Territory police. I'm angry about this because a mentally ill person who clearly has a history with this Coles supermarket because workers within the Coles supermarket have told the media that what they usually do with this man is just take the goods off the man and explain to him that they have to be paid for. So they have a long relationship with this disabled man, and one of the things he does is just walk up and down the aisles and grab things. This is known to the staff at Coles. It's known to everybody. So, one, why did the security guards have to be so forceful with this disabled man? Intellectually disabled, so intellectually disabled that he was in state care. Two, why did the police have to put a knee on his head and kill him? Police who shouldn't have been doing anything. They weren't police at the time. It's really starting to look like that. I can't honestly say one way or the other because everything's so vague. No one knows what really happened here. The only people who are covering it are the ABC. The other thing about this is here's another news story. This one's from news.com.au, which is Channel 9 News. But they say something else about these police officers. Warren Peary, man, I really don't want to insult the man by mispronouncing his name. Died after being restrained by 2 off-duty police officers. This was written, it's a 2-minute read, it was written on June the 8th. So it was written 2 days ago. So when this first happened, the police said, 1, these 2 police officers were on duty undercover inside the supermarket who were chasing up the assault that this man had committed to a woman further down the road at the bank, suggesting that he may have been trying to rob somebody. Turns out that might be a lie. It's gone from that to one of these police officers is a court pen pusher who isn't actually a police officer. He's a lawyer, a pen pushing fucking lawyer that put his knee on a disabled man's head and killed him. Shouldn't that man be at least under charged for manslaughter? How is it when these police officers do this to us that they don't get charged with manslaughter? The more and more I talk about this, the more and more I get angry. As somebody who's been mentally ill for the majority of my life, a lot of people and acquaintances that I know have been hurt extremely bad by police officers. A couple of them have died because of their mental health. Having mental illness in this country, if you have an episode at the moment, is very dangerous. It's like we're back to the 90s in Melbourne again, where to be mentally ill and to have an episode could actually mean that the police are going to turn up and kill you. This is very serious, and we really need to change it. We really need to do something about that. At 55, I've got a handle on my mental illness. My mental illness has gone all over the place in the last 3 months, but that is a result of not eating the right foods due to not having enough money to buy fresh fruits, and my vitamin C dropped over a period of 2 years. My minerals dropped over a period of 2 years. And that's why you haven't gotten many videos. I'm now taking supplements, and it's quite amazing the change and how quickly that change has happened in my mental health, because I'm now having the right nutrients and working out ways to make eating correctly affordable. That's all for another video. But yeah, I can't talk about this anymore. It's just going to depress me so much for the rest of the day that I'm not going to be able to sleep. I didn't realise this man was in state care until I started reading this video. And it's even sadder. How on earth does this happen? Like, it's one thing if I go to a supermarket and freak out and the police come along and tase me and I die of a heart attack. It's another thing if I was in state care and I went to a supermarket unsupervised. Like, how'd that even happen anyway? The man's in state care. Maybe we should be looking at who's taking money for the care of this man and why they're not providing the services that government is offering, is paying for. And is there rot going on there? Is this man dead because of a government rot? I'm going to end that video now. Please remember, if you're entitled to redress, chances are you're entitled to win a civil lawsuit. Go see a lawyer. Goodbye. Stay safe. And I'll try to put another video out within the next 2 days.